Tag, ich bin Eric, an American living in Germany, and welcome back to my new YouTube channel. Yesterday I was in Hamburg, and today, do you know what hair of the dog is? When you've had a little too many of these the night before, and you need another one to get your day rolling, we call that the hair of the dog. I am not sure what you would call that here in Germany, so let me know in the comments below, what do you call the first beer to start off the day? Let's get on to today's topic. Number one, getting a job in Germany. Easy or not? Well, for the most part, it can be pretty easy. Germany is looking for workers, and they've got a lot of jobs available. So that part can be easy. If you've got some skills, you've got some education, you can find your field, you'll find a job in Germany. Now the hard part leads into the next part, the paperwork and the bureaucracy. This can be a little bit more trouble because it's going to take some time, lots of paperwork, lots of patience, lots of stress. Some of the differences between working here in Germany and in the US comes down to the details. Paperwork, licenses. Here in Germany, you can't pick up some tools and go and be a plumber. You can't pick up a hammer and call yourself a carpenter. There's a lot of training, lots of education, and you have to prove you are able to do these jobs.
Because all you people want is more.
Now, some differences between the application process once you've got that job lined up. Again, lots of paperwork. Germany really likes their paperwork. I don't know where they're getting all this paper from. Yeah, again, paperwork. And then stress and patience, and everything's fine. I've got a personal story about looking for jobs. Years ago in the US, I worked a long time as a construction worker. I needed to change jobs. I decided to go into hairdressing. I went to school for it. I was all jacked up. I had my mind set on changing careers in a big way. I went through the schooling. It took a few years. Got my license. I was a licensed hairstylist. Then I started coming to Germany. All of my plans and ideas changed because everything that I had done in the US, using a hairstylist as an example, here in Germany, it's an entirely different learning and training process. I would have had to start totally over. Basically, the previous 3 years are gone, wasted. I resorted back to my previous experience with construction. Germany compared to the US and the construction and building are highly respected here in Germany. In the US, anybody can pick up a hammer and find a job. Once I came here to Germany and I started looking at these options, I really started to see a difference. I had really wanted to do something different, but maybe moving to a different country was just that different thing. Here in Germany, you guys got something special. I really appreciate how you respect these guys that build your world around you. The life you live in. This is really cool. And this was part of my motivation. This was part of the reason why I wanted to be here. Because of that, even though I left a job in the US that I didn't want anymore, but it was more than that. I left a whole life behind there. Coming here, I started something new, but I was able to pick up something that I was very familiar with, and that is keeping me going, and that is what I'm doing here in Germany. One small struggle might be the language. I've been really lucky. The language barrier might be a big problem. depending on the job you have. And I don't want to speak too far out of line. And don't get me wrong, if you come to Germany, you really should be speaking the language.
Sitzpinkler.
Me, I admit, I was not so prepared, but I got lucky. I found myself in a position where the language was not quite so necessary, but little things were being picked up. The guys I was working with spoke a little bit of English, and then I started learning more German as the days went by.
I don't understand a word you just said.
Something that I've been learning is the German Punktlichkeit. The German Punktlichkeit, being on time. I think this is the German interpretation of being on time is different in weird ways compared to the US. Like, if in the US, if we make plans to meet at 2 o'clock, then at 1:59, if we're both walking up, that's fine. If 2:03, we're both walking up, that's still fine. Likely one of us is going to be 10 or 15 minutes late anyway. And that's probably still okay, depending on who you're meeting with. But here in Germany, if we're meeting at 2 o'clock, then you should be there 10 or 15 minutes early. They don't like to be late, but they don't like to wait. There's something else that I've learned about is the Fuschanbau. Fuschanbau. Everyone does their job in the correct way. Now, colleagues, once you got this new job, you're struggling with the language, you're struggling being in a new place. The colleagues, only speaking from my own experience, you really get a lot of both. You're going to find the people that are very open and welcoming to you, and hopefully those are the ones that you end up working with. I was asked about alcohol on construction and work sites. Here in Germany compared to the US, this is very different. I think for the most part, it's frowned upon in both places. I admit that I've done some work in the US where I've had some beers on the job. You have to know if you're working a hard, long day and you drink a beer in the middle of the day, you have to really be responsible for yourself. Like, is it going to get you fired? Is it going to result in an accident and you cut an arm off? That's responsibility. Be smart. Don't be stupid about it. But I did learn that life is a little bit different in Bavaria. I think beer is one of their main sources of food, or like, I think the Bavarians survive on air, beer, and maybe a little bit of sleep at night. Another thing I've learned here in Germany is 3 levels in your job. Lehrling, Geselle, und Meister. The Lehrling has an education process called Ausbildung. This is something that we don't have in the US. And it is, from what I understand, it's like a proper education. It has some schooling, and it slowly works you into the job. You do this for 2 or 3 years, 3 years, I think. I'm a bit sorry that I missed out on this. My opinion of this is that it's probably a cool experience. When you finish the Ausbildung, then you become a full-time worker, and I guess this is where you build more experience. But I was told that this is the part, like, you can be a worker, but as the Geselle, you can't go out and start your own business, your own company. This requires more education, and you need to become a Meister, a master of your trade. Now that you've gotten through your workday, we learn the single most important word in the German vocabulary: Feierabend. This is really cool, and it is the most important word, Feierabend. Really, here's more of that pride. It's like, work hard and play hard. Now it's my time, Feierabend. And now subscribe, hit that bell, and Feierabend.